Hey everyone, welcome to live stream number 16. Today is June 22nd, and I'm starting the live stream a little bit later today. I've had a couple of busy days out in Chicago doing some camp training, but it's awesome to be back. And today we're going to talk about what's new in the June release that was just released. It was released Tuesday, so 2 days ago. Just want to kind of like give you my highlights of what I think is worth kind of like picking out of that. It wasn't a huge release, but it was like one of these good releases that kind of like improved a couple of good things. So a good solid what's new for the month of June with Fusion 360. Now, before I forget, down in the description area of this video, you will find a link to download the free CNC Handbook. If you haven't already, it's something I haven't mentioned here on the live stream, and I should, I think, do it more. So if you're into CAM, go down in the description area, find the link where you can download your free copy of the CNC Handbook. It will take you out to my blog at camstuff.com, and right there you can download it as a PDF, and it's pretty cool, pretty awesome. All right, you can see that we already got a bunch of people joining in here. That is awesome. Thank you, everybody who is joining the live stream. And if you are watching the recording, because that's a cool thing about YouTube, thank you so much for doing that. Down in the description area, you will find my email, lars.christensen @autodesk.com. Send me anything that you would like to see as possible topics here on the live stream. But I thought today we will just talk a little bit about the What's New that was released a couple of days ago. Actually, if you just fired up Fusion, you will actually see that you got another update today. That was just something I think in patch mode, the offset command was not working right, so they just sent out a little quick fix for that. But nothing really to mention there. That's one of the cool things I think about Fusion 360, that these updates just comes out with some new goodies in there. All right, I'm going to stop yapping here. My email address down in the description area, lars.christensen @autodesk.com. Anything specific you want to see in these live streams. And also check out the CNC Handbook. That link is also down in the description area for your free copy of that one. So, hey, everybody who are joining, thank you so much. Let's jump into to Fusion here. So, first of all, I just wanted to point out that up here you now have like kind of like a new job status thing. If you look at that one, when they're pushing out new updates, it will actually come in here and it will show you in here if you have a new update available. I don't have one right now, of course, because it's got the latest one, but that's one of the indication. If you're working inside of Fusion Live, it would actually show with the one here. Also, you get this green bar up here, and of course this tier, if you have clicked on it, that will take you out to the What's New blog. Looks somewhat like this here, and this is what I'm kind of like. I'm just gonna run through the couple of ones in here that I think is kind of worth mentioning, because I know everybody's busy and people don't have time to go in and sit there and try to read all the things that was through. So one thing that was, I gotta bring my notes back up. Okay, so one thing that is in this blog post, one of the new things in this release that came out Tuesday was sketch transparency. And I'm not going to spend more than like 2 seconds on this, because I don't think if you had noticed this, then you're now going to be happy. If you're like me, that you I never really actually had a problem with this, then you're just moving on as you have done before. But really what it means is I got 3 different sketches visible, and I'm in like a assembly, so I have the top one here. Now if I go down to activate the ellipse component, you will see that we see the ellipse, because if I go into that sketch that is highlighted, because that component is active, the other ones you can still see the circle and the rectangle here, and the circle is actually is buried inside of another sub in here. So that's what they did in this release. They kind of like made this transparency better, I guess. Like I said, I really didn't have come across this, but okay, cool. They they kind of like fix this up, so the transparency is better now. I'll take that. I accept that. The other thing that they had done was that you can now copy paste sketches to new designs, and I actually think that if you are have watched some of the previous live streams, there was actually a workaround how you could do it before. So you can take one sketch and you can copy it over to a new design, but now they have actually made it the way I would say that it should work. So if I go into, I have this model here, and if we scroll down to the first sketch, you will see that that's a revolve sketch that I used. So we're going to say edit sketch. So here's my fully defined sketch, right? Now, if I was going to make a variation of that other part of the part itself, I didn't want to draw all this up again. So what you can do is you can highlight it, you can right mouse button, and you can go down, you can say copy down here. Then you can go to a completely new design, completely new file. You can do a new sketch on whatever plane you want, and then you can right click, and now you can paste that sketch in, and it automatically goes into the move command. It places it on the origin where I had started the sketch, and all that is good. But now we have this new sketch in here. Now, of course, it's still moving around because it's not going to create the constraint right here. But if I go in and I do that, now you'll see it gets fully defined. So copy sketches from one file to a new file for a new project. That is definitely something that is super handy, and is one of those things that I think I like. Another thing that they did that I think can be super helpful is that you can now. Well, let me show you the old behavior. If I go in and I create a new sketch, and I'm just going to sketch something. I'm going to hit the S on my S key to get the toolbar up here, and I'm just going to sketch some kind of a rectangle, and I'm going to do a circle. I'm not going to fully define this, but let's do another like a 2-point rectangle or something like that. So multiple sketches within a file. If I hit Q for press pull, and now I can kind of like select what I want. So maybe I just want these here and leave that opening. Moving up here like this. When I hit OK, then the sketch goes away. And the sketch is by just sitting down in the sketch folder here. You can turn it back on, and then you can see the sketch, because maybe I want to reuse that sketch to go in and do another press pull like that. So what they have done in this release, let me just go back to our sketch here, is if you go under Preferences and you go into Design, there is now a checkbox. By default, it's checked, so it will react like it used to. But if you like, you can now uncheck this last checkbox, Auto Hide Sketch on Feature Creation. And what that means is that if I go in and repeat what I did before, hit Q, I select these two, extrude that up. When I hit OK, you will see the sketch stays visible to continue moving do So that's just one of those, I think, kind of neat options in there. Some people really like to do a lot of sketch entities within one, having everything in one sketch, and then extrude from that. And it's definitely nice that it just don't go away. It's also good if you like importing. I would think like if you're importing like 2D geometry, like DXF files and stuff like that you got to extrude things from. It's kind of neat that you have that option in there. So I like that. All right, just gonna move on here. The next thing, I'm actually gonna go and pull in Aaron's blog post and Magnin here. An improvement to interrupt expand. So if you watched the last What's New video, I think it was the last one that Aaron and Bryce did, they made it possible for you to interrupt if you did compute all. if you did the compute all inside of Fusion, many times if you have like a bigger model, that can take a long time to solve. And it was made so if you hit escape, then you would stop that process. Where before, Fusion would just keep on going till it was done with that process. Well, they have added that one to feature deletion, feature suppression, reordering of features, converting features, blah, blah, blah. You can see them all in here. I definitely think that is that you should know that is in there. Let's get back into Fusion here. The other thing they did, and this is maybe, I don't know, for a few people this might be handy to know. If I go into the patch area, so that's like surface machining, or surface modeling, I guess, and I'm just going to start a new sketch, and let me sketch a 2-point rectangle here. It's nothing really matters, and let's patch it like this. So now it is just a flat surface. There was a feature called, what was it called? Surface normal display. So if you look at what is the normal direction on this surface, you will see that this looks a little darker than this side does. And that could mean that when you spun your surface models around, that you could be a little, like, it was just weird that how it displayed the side that was normal if you were just kind of like looking at it, presenting it or whatever. You can now turn that off in the preferences. So if you ever encountered that, that's kind of nice to know. That is under the graphics setting. And right here, there is disable surface. Oh, I already did it turned off. Hit apply. And now, yep, so now you can see that it looks the same on both sides versus if I turn it back off. Graphics, there, disable surface normal display it's called. So now it's yellow, mustard yellow, and that's great. I hope that is kind of like helpful. Maybe not, again, some people this is going to be really helpful, for other people not maybe so much. All right, I'm going to jump in and do the last two. I'm going to keep this a little short today because I have something else I got to do. But the two other ones that is definitely worth mentioning, maybe the most exciting I hide to the last maybe. If you're like me, you like CAM. The CAM development team did a couple of things, but one of the things that is worth highlighting is if you go into a tool library, they changed the interface a little bit. There used to be a bunch, all these buttons plus a lot others was up here in the menu, and those buttons, actually I can show them to you. If I right click on, this was the buttons that was up in the toolbar. So remove was up there, export, import libraries. I think most of these was before up on the bar up here, and the development team was like, there's not really any reason for all those buttons. It's better that they are buried further down in the process when you needed to work with it. So they did that. And the last thing that Aaron had in the What's New, I just wanted to show you is, and if you haven't heard, this is why I just wanted to show you quick. I'm not going to go into deep details. We will that later, but that is Fusion in a browser. So it's still in like preview space, but Aaron had a little GIF that showed the different things. So I thought, hey, I can show it to you too. So let me just find that. So actually I brought the file. Oops, I should probably turn the screen on. That file you saw before. So this is that file you saw me copy the sketch from. That sketch is actually right down here. This is Fusion inside of a browser. Like I said, it's not fully released yet, but they just kind of like gave a little quick look at it. So you have the feature tree down here. You can scroll back and forth just like you would inside of standard Fusion. They have sketch tools. There is the different extrude, loft, and all these tools is in here. So they're saying that this is coming soon, so everybody can get to play with it. But just so you know that is on the way. So that was really all that I had kind of like planned on showing today in the What's New. Like I said, it was not a lot of stuff, but I think that you need to kind of like be aware of some of the things. Definitely the copy paste sketches from one part to another part can really help you. You know, you're working on one model and you're like, well, you know, I need something very similar to that shape that I just spent a long time sketching up. You can copy it into a new design. The interrupt all could definitely also be helpful. That had been added to a lot of things. There's nothing worse than when you do something and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, because then you know the computer's going to be spinning. The KM tool library, I of course love when they're doing things with that. And then of course this Fusion in a browser is going to be kind of exciting, because that gives you the option to actually go in and mess with your files even when you don't have Fusion on a machine, meaning that now you could be, you know, at a customer site or something, and you could be like, hey, let me just go in here and just check the model and make a couple of adjustments like that. So that was all I was planning on showing you today. Actually, we got a ton of people showing up here. Just let me take a quick look. We got Quebec, Canada in here. It's awesome. We got Germany, or at least somebody speaking German in here. I will definitely jump in here for a second and just answer people and chat with people for a few minutes. So again, if you haven't already gotten the CNC Handbook, it's free PDF. Go down the description area and you can click the link there and you can download that one for free. My email address is also down there. So if you have any specific things you would like to see on the live stream, I'm creating a good list of different things. I would definitely appreciate it. And yeah, I just, you know, for you guys who are joining live, dude, thank you so much for just throwing everything and jumping in here. For you who's watching the recordings, really appreciate that you also take the time to actually sit down and watch this. I hope that this is helpful. Just a quick view into the highlights of what came in the June release. There is more stuff in there, so go to the blog. If you go into Google, search Fusion 360 blog, it's the second entry in the blog there, and you can read Aaron's full review that goes maybe a little bit more in detail than what I showed here. So I'm going to stop the broadcast, and then I'm going to jump in. If you are in the chat, I'm going to just jump in and say hi. So until the next time, thank you so much, and have an awesome, awesome day.